Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we meet once again here on this forum to discuss ideas, thoughts about various aspects. And a good morning to you, a good happy Sunday. So I have here with me on the panel again Anupam and Hemant, and we're going to be discussing communication, communicating boldly and living boldly. So the importance, the understanding of what courage means, as well as using it both in your communication and lifestyle. All right. Yes, Anupam, I would like to hear your thoughts on living boldly. What do you believe living boldly is? Or what do you think, courage really means?
Um, so, Rahul, living boldly for me means that we have to be very particular about the things that we are speaking. We have to be straightforward, not winding things up like when we are speaking to anyone. For example, even we tend to change our thoughts and the way we speak when we have some high authoritarian people in front of us, or we try to hesitate to speak with them. Like for example, in our organization, we had a guest coming from coming from France, and they visited us, and they started asking. They came to our floor, and they were just exploring the place and also checking out with people how things are going up, and if there are any issues during their work, or if they have some special demands in terms of anything they want from them. So everybody was hesitant. Nobody wanted to speak. They said everything is going well. Then they started saying that our projects are going well. Then we have good things going up. We have good managers and everything. But nobody was actually in a position to speak the problems that they were actually facing. So I was the one. I came up with an idea. As I thought that let's speak, and maybe if I speak, maybe other also will be able to speak out their mind. So I had a very basic complaint with them, saying that the way we have our chairs in our organizations, the place I sit, it's not very well in terms of when I try to sit for long, I have some backaches while sitting on the chair. So,
Right.
the first thing they were surprised, and they were also happy that someone has come up and given them a real problem that the employees are facing. And they said that it's nice that we have a problem here because that is what we want. We wanted people come up with the problems. We have some good feedbacks also, but we want the problems, people coming up and giving us problems. And then when I spoke those things, then he agreed with it, and he had some other dignitaries also with him, and they started writing the problems. And then when I spoke, then others also came up with their different thoughts and problems, and they this way they had multiple topics which were noted down, and they said that we'll handle these topics one by one, and in the coming weeks you'll see improvements. So I think that is what we have to do. If you know your problems correctly, and you have to communicate it boldly. And with this way, I think then only we'll be able to uh, speak well, and we'll be
Yes,
able to communicate well with the people. And that is how we have to do. We do not have to hesitate things, because you are doing it for the organization, and they are asking you if you have some problems. Then even if it is basic, we should come up and speak. And this is also with the outside world as well.
yeah,
So this is
yeah,
one of my
excellent,
opinions.
excellent. Yeah, that's really nice because here Anupam has given us an example about what happened in a corporate situation. It's in a tech company in which a lot of people were afraid to speak out their minds to the management, to senior management. So my question here is to Hemant now is here Anupam has described a very interesting situation, but here a large number of the participants seem to be afraid. So do you think that when you are bold, that there is an absence of fear or a presence of fear and an overcoming of that fear? What do you feel in terms of the meaning bold or courage from the situation that Anupam here has described?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Good morning. And bold, being bold is actually. Actually, the most important thing is you have to be yourself. So, in this particular case, it is not losing fear. Everybody, you cannot remove fear. Everyone will have, based on situation to situation, individual to individual, the fear differs. For instance, some people will love public speaking. If you ask them to speak publicly, even in front of 1,000 people, they will very confidently, spontaneously go to the stage and speak. Whereas the same person may fearful of some other situation. So the thing is, the main idea is you have to face the fear. So in the case where Anupam just spoke about those other people not speaking about, ideally, if they were to be bold, they have to analyze the situation, and then the tone of speaking is also very important. So they will have to put forth whatever difficulties they are facing in such a way that they don't hurt the management, but at the same time they are very open and genuinely address what their issue is. So that means the most important thing is understanding themselves and then understanding the situation and then telling themselves to be honest. I think honesty, many a times, why employees don't come out with their problems is because they feel that if they speak out, they will lose their job, or they may be losing a chance of promotion. So I don't, because I myself have worked in the corporate, and I have also not been so vociferous at times when I should have been more open about issues. I have not done that. But management actually likes people who are very creative and bold. But as I told you, the tone of communication, that is very important. Putting it
Yes,
across
yes.
such a way that the ideas are clear.
So
And
basically, the
then,
way you put it across really matters as well.
yes,
And you can communicate boldly or be bold in the way that you present yourself, but present
yes,
yourself in a kind of manner that is, at the same time amicable to the others and, you know, amenable and helps the, general betterment of relations, right? That is what you basically are trying to say. The way that you speak,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
True,
really
true.
like what you also mentioned about the concept of truth or honesty. I think that honesty it's a very interesting uh, concept that you mentioned in terms of boldness and connecting it to the concept of honesty. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes, actually, there are two things about this particular case about Anupam's colleagues. Many of them not coming about. Now, there can be two results. Even despite speaking in the best tone, you may get a negative, you may face a negative consequence also because in the management, people are of different nature. So it is so you can have a negative impact also. But even if an impact becomes negative, I don't think the person speaking out should get worried about. See, when I say
Right,
honest, what happens is even if you lose your job, say, for instance, in this instance, or you are not getting a promotion, at least you feel good within yourself. One thing is that power is there within yourself. When you speak, when you say bold, when you become bold, if you analyze yourself, you will feel good about yourself, and also even if the entire result is not up to your expectations, it is negative also. Nothing to worry about. You take it as a learning experience. Even if you lose the job, doesn't matter. At least you would have felt happy and satisfied that you are able to confidently put across something to the management, and that can be a learning experience for your next assignment, whether it's a business opportunity or maybe some other organization. Because there is a very good cinema scene that I remember. There was this famous movie of Three Idiots, which came in Hindi about, I think, 7, 8 years or 10 years ago. So there was this out of these three friends, the story of three friends with a lot of that movie had a lot of content. So one of them who was not very, I mean, I won't say it was just average. They were all studying for engineering, but the third person, I don't remember who was the person. I mean, the actor's face is very familiar. When he was when he had gone to attend the interview, he was rather open in his the way he answered the question, very direct and honest. And in fact, the interviewers one of the interviewers, the chief interviewers, what he said was, I don't think you may be suitable for this job because you are very direct in your approach. You just say things upfront without being too diplomatic. So the answer given by this particular candidate, what he said is, I'm not ashamed of what I said because for me, the attitude is more important. At least, even if I don't get selected for this job, at least I have the satisfaction that I didn't lose my authenticity or my self identity. And then you won't believe
Fantastic.
it. The next scene, the interviewer actually said, in fact, I just gave it was just a test. We love you. You are on the job. When are you ready to join? So actually, he
Yeah,
got the
of
job
course.
because of
I just
his.
love it. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
This concept of
yes,
authenticity and integrity and living boldly is really
yes,
fantastic and very, very, it's almost crazy if you think about it, isn't it? Because many a time we've
yes,
been told when we're growing up that honesty is not the best policy by certain people. But as we go along, we find out that that's not the case. Being more authentic and having a higher level of integrity actually brings your own um, soul people, if you'd like, your own soul job, your people, things that are connected with the way you think around to you. So that is one of the things that is actually fantastic about having integrity. So you don't live a lie, you don't exist in a lie, you don't do a job that you don't like to do just for the money or something and lose fail in that job and find yourself frustrated. But when you have a higher level of integrity and self worth and authenticity, you tend to discover things that are more connected to exactly who you are. You also tend to understand who you are. So that's the kind of things that gravitate towards things that are connected to exactly who you are. When you live a life of a lie, then you find that you gravitate towards the lie itself, and then you find yourself frustrated with what you do. You maybe are in a good position, but you simply can't uh, pull off any of the results that are required to look good because you hate what you're doing. And over a period of time, that's it. You're finished, right? You're also a large percentage of your life might have gone by then, and it's a large loss for you. So that's the problem with living a lie. I really enjoyed what you had to say and with regards to the particular movie as well. So, yes, I definitely do agree that truthfulness and integrity are a very crucial component in living boldly and in living well. So, all right, living strong and living well. Anupam, I'd just like to ask you about assertiveness as well when it comes to, living and communicating boldly. Assertiveness, generally in organizations, like in this particular case, I wouldn't say that you were assertive when you were discussing the concept of the chair. I'd say you were more honest or truthful. But what do you feel about assertiveness, and how do you feel assertiveness is connected to living and communicating boldly?
Sorry, I was on mute. So, Rahul, I think there are two aspects over here. When we try to communicate boldly, sometimes it is taken as rude. For example, I'll take an example again, where if my manager has asked me to do something, maybe he has given me a deadline that this is a task which needs to be completed by next week, and if I directly say no to him, so it can be rude. So I think communicating boldly also means that you have to be assertive whenever you are speaking to anyone, maybe to a high authority, most importantly, because if you have some facts that by next week I have other tasks also lined up, so I'm currently working on these tasks and which will take time. And the task that you are offering me to complete by next week, it will be difficult for me to complete because it involves other stakeholders as well, and this is kind of a complex task also. So I don't think that I'll be able to complete by next week. So maybe I'll ask him to extend the deadlines and also maybe negotiate with other management people to convince them that this is not possible by next week, and then that will have to be extended. And I think this is the way we have to do it. Otherwise, if we do not support our thoughts with facts, it will come out as rude and it will impact, it will have the repercussions. So I think for me, clearly expressing yourself with facts, and that is way I think that is how we have to do it. Just for example, I have a question for you, Rahul. So, what if I had
Yes.
given an example before, the first example where I said that we had some issues with the office chairs. So, in this case, if they would have taken it negatively, then how would I have taken the matter, or how would I have responded to them in that case?
If they had taken it negatively, see,
Yes.
Anupam, you'll have to take your stance. Okay. In life, assertiveness is something very crucial to communicate boldly. Fear is something that we imagine inside our own heads, and it may not represent the exact danger that we face. It's something psychological. Fear, it's assumed danger rather than real danger that produces fear. Okay, so if they had taken it negatively, you'd have to take your stance, and exactly like you mentioned, present your case with facts, but retain your stance. Do not feel that sense of fear that would stop you from standing your ground. All right, you know that those chairs are breaking the backs of workers in your organization or in any organization. In fact, this particular problem is faced by many tech companies right across the nation. I assume right across the globe as well, but I'm unsure about that. But definitely across the nation, there's a lot of people who are suffering with back injuries because of chairs that are not ergonomically constructed, and rather, cheaper versions of chairs that are affecting, staff. So if you take your stance and hold your stance, if your management is being immature or being extensively aggressive because of the power that they possess, you don't have to worry about that too much. If they take a stance and say, okay, Mr. Anupam Singh, we don't want you around anymore, I think it's better that you leave. You have to have that courage to leave because you haven't mentioned something that is wrong or that is inauthentic or in any way is offensive to people in any way. So they would probably be handling power in a irresponsible way. Management that handles power in an irresponsible way isn't going to take you far, isn't going to take you towards any vision state. All right. So you have to take your stance according to that. And remember that fear is psychological and is present under assumed danger, not under real danger. All right. So
Okay.
always take your stance. In fact, we've discussed this many times privately, and that is, if you remember, what exactly assertiveness is. We said that assertiveness is first knowing your boundaries. You've got
Yes.
to know these are my particular boundaries. And then you have to understand and respect the audience, whoever it is that you're speaking to, understanding exactly what their boundaries might be. All right. And then you have to present your case. So if you know that, all right, we can't do this particular project, we can't finish it by the deadline that has been set, we don't have the resources, we don't have the expertise at this particular time in any way to complete the project by the deadline, you have to present that case towards your senior manager without fear of repercussion because you know that this cannot be done. So you have to present your case, you have to speak it up, and you have to tell them why, like you mentioned earlier on, coming up with facts. You have to mention why. These are the reasons. Because if you go silent, neither will you hit the deadline, you will also face the repercussions of other people
Yes.
will be calling you lazy, basically.
Exactly.
They'll say it's because of you. You are the one who is accountable. You're the one who is to be held responsible for all these kind of things because you haven't spoken out. In
Yes.
fact, many a time, if you fail to speak out, uh, it can be a larger evil. It can be a larger evil than what it is that you're facing. What I'm trying to say is, in the case of the Indian independence or South African independence, wherever you look, if those politicians did not speak out against the evil system that was in front of them, a highly, what do you say, discriminatory and negative system, political system that was affecting them, if they didn't speak out, where would these nations be today? Have
Right.
you thought
Right.
about that? No. because it's not that these discriminatory systems or leadership behind these discriminatory systems did not think that they were in the right. They thought they were in the right. The government in South Africa definitely thought it was in the right when it was being discriminatory towards the local South African, African population. They definitely thought they were correct. But then you have a Nelson Mandela coming and speaking out,
Yes, yes.
coming with his truth. You understand? Everybody has an assumed truth as well, a truth that they really believe in. But there is also a real truth. And each person, as they come, guides us closer and closer towards the real truth. And Mandela had that stance that was a number of steps ahead of whatever the discriminatory system that was affecting that nation had. So we moved 3 or 4 steps ahead.
In fact, Rahul, India is also doing well, I think, in that case where we are dealing with other countries also in the same way they are dealing with us. Maybe plus for the recent example of Canada, they removed our diplomats from Canada, and also India is also responding the same way. And with the
Right.
fact, so I think this
Yeah,
is one of
that is
the
what,
yeah.
yes, yes. That I think is nowadays one of the general systems in politics, where
Yes,
you remove our diplomats, we remove your diplomats, and so on and so forth. Back and forth. You impose this tariff, we impose this tariff. They've brought it in as a general system. Even in fact, India did do well under Gandhi because I think Gandhi was a man who came up with a new idea, and his idea is based on assertiveness and non-violence, asserting yourself without violence. So, that is communicating boldly, saying that no, we do not accept what you are doing to us. We say no to what you're doing. What you're doing is not correct. And that is quite a high level of integrity, a high level of courage, and a certain understanding of life. Understanding that fear, as I mentioned about 2 or 3 times, is a psychological response to assumed danger and not a psychological response to real danger. Unless, of course, you're capable to understand exactly what the danger surrounds you is. And that for that, you may require a lot of experience. But mostly, most of us, whether we are leaders or followers, I guess everybody is a leader of himself. So, we find out that we're facing situations mostly that we don't know. The future is unknown. So, largely, fear is still a psychological response to unknown danger. The exact nature of the danger is largely not never been known. So, when you're sitting in front of your manager and you say, the chairs are not ergonomically built and it's affecting our backs, you're afraid at that moment. What is this man? You don't know who this man is or how he'll react to your truth or the truth that you're facing. And so you tend to have fear. But if you notice, Anupam mentioned that the others began to follow. A herd mentality immediately took over. So you understand the herd mentality is a mentality that is designed by nature itself inside human beings, perhaps to protect. So when everyone saw, okay, here's someone who's taken a charge, they all moved in a herd, like a herd, and started talking about the chairs. So that mentality is there, and I think the leader has to be the one who first starts it out anyway. Whether the herd comes along and protects you or not, uh,
yes.
you know, it's very crucial there. So I'd say we should always communicate boldly and honestly, because that is something crucial, very crucial. Yes, yes. Is there anything else you'd like to mention, Hemant, with regards to
Yes,
assertiveness
yes.
and
So actually,
communication?
we were talking about assertive communication only in terms of corporate, but the same thing applies on a personal level also. Because if you see many times, yeah, let us take the Indian situation. Children are not able to express themselves in front of their parents, especially when they
Right.
reach that age of, when they are just completing their 10th and they are going to the next level or plus two. Even
Right,
now I'm seeing, very, very unfortunate. Uh, children, for instance, a daughter or a son, she may be interested in arts. She may be good in music. Probably she wants to pursue that as her career. But the parents, because of maybe their own pressure or their own pressure that they have created, because the neighbors' children are pursuing engineering or medicine. They will force this child to pursue that. And actually, my wife's best friend's son, he's a very good singer. But just because her husband is a marine engineer, this boy has completed his BTech in some mechanical engineering from Amrita, and now he's doing his marine engineering from Chennai. But actually, he's a good singer. But because
Okay,
the parents told him that no, that doesn't have future. So you are not going to earn anything in society. You are not going to earn money. So in fact, ideally, if that boy had that communicative, assertive communication, he would have said, "Come what may." I would have, I will only pursue this because otherwise, I don't think we would have had this lovely singers like Sonu Nigam, and you know, is very famous, or
right,
they all
right.
went, isn't it? So I think that comes in our other non-professional lives also.
Yeah.
It is,
See, the thing
uh,
is, Hemant, here, what you have to understand is aggressive communication and assertive communication are different. Okay. Aggressive
yes,
communication need not be bold, but might be generated by a high level of emotions impacting your mind. All right. So aggressive communication need not be bold. Assertive communication, on the other hand, is systematic. So if this particular lad was to speak to his father regularly, assert his position, this is why, Dad, I want to do this. This is why I want to do this. Over a period of time, his father might begin to see his talent. But when he gets aggressive, they get into a kind of fight. And then what happens is that they lose. It becomes a lose lose kind of situation. So a man with integrity and a man with honesty, like you mentioned, and a man who is assertive enough will you systematically communicate his position. We'll understand why he holds that position and will systematically communicate that particular position and will go forward with it. At some point, his father is going to see, all right, this is the thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, fantastic, guys. I really enjoyed our speech here. And, I'd just like to add one more thing. It's a little philosophical. It's what I always tell my kids as well. And that is, I always believe that your reason should be above your emotions or your fear in order for you to really be bold or to live bold. Because you should always have a sense of rationality above your fear. And always remember that fear is a natural impulse. But while it's a natural psychological response, it does not hit the bullseye. It never hits the bullseye because it's based on assumed danger, what you assume the danger is. Okay, so having a rationality that is a little bit over your feelings is a way that you can overcome this particular aspect and move forward. No, move forward. Get back, take a deep breath, think about it, and say, okay, I'm going to assert this particular position. I want to tell my dad that I want to be a musician, you know, and I'm going to keep telling him until he gets it. I'm not going to let it go like that. I'm not going to be angry. If I am angry today, I'll get back to him tomorrow in a nice way. So you move that way, you are definitely going to uh, assert your position, communicate boldly, and move towards your goal. Move towards your goal. Yeah. All right, guys.
yes.
I think we'll wind it up. We are out of time today, and fantastic. It was great speaking to you guys, and I hope our audience subscribes to our channel because if our audience really loves it, please do subscribe, and we will be coming out with more information with regards to communication and other concepts, different topics. Um, so, ciao. Have a great day. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Hemant. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Anupam,
Bye.
and thank you, Mr.